Hi, my name is Jonathan, and on today's video, I'll be talking about life-defining moments. These are moments where you're faced with a crossroad, where basically you need to make a decision or the other. And whatever decision you make would impact the next phase, the next season of your life, either positively or otherwise. On today's video, I'll be talking about a personal story where I'll be sharing where we were faced with a similar type of decision, a thought process of going into that, and explore ways that you can evaluate such decisions yourself and make sure that you can unlock the transformation and achieve your full potential and hit all that God has for you. What happened? Back in 2019, October of 2019, my family and I moved finally from Aberdeen down south. I say finally because we had been in Aberdeen for 7 years, a little bit too long, and I had been trying to move career-wise down from Aberdeen to London, which is kind of where my company has its head office. And that's because that's where the decisions were being made. So career-wise, it was a really good move. Now, because I was making a career move, we also decided for my wife, she's electronics engineer, we met in university, but she's very passionate about child education. And so we decided, okay, since I was making a career move, in exchange, she was also going to do something for herself to improve herself. And she decided to do a Montessori university program, which she was going to do for a year. We had a 4-bed house in Aberdeen, and because of that, we didn't want to really sell the house. Plus, we really, frankly, couldn't afford to buy a house in London because house prices in London are like double those in Aberdeen. And so we decided to go on a 2-year assignment. And what that entailed was essentially the company pays for accommodation for you, which was brilliant. So we were put into this 4-bed house in a really lovely part of England called Virginia Water, which is just brilliant, right? Everything was going well. We bought a new car, 4-wheel drive. I'd always wanted a 4-wheel drive SUV type car. And everything was going great. You could say, this was a period of comfort until the pandemic. And I basically get in 2020 a phone call one of those nights basically saying, Jonathan, your assignment's been cancelled and you've got 2 months to move back to Aberdeen. And by the way, you need to move out of the company property. Now, this was a shock to us because, my wife had started her university program. She had quit her business up in Aberdeen, which we had spent a lot of money getting set up to follow me down south. My son had just entered nursery, was just getting settled. And we generally loved the London vibe, the London energy, right? So, again, with all these factors, it was a little bit of a struggle. Now, I would be lying to you if I said, that was the first thing that came to my mind and, the decision was really easy. Because, to be honest, Aberdeen was a comfortable place, right? That was my I had been there for 7 years. We had lots of friends. We had a great church. I understood the environment. We had a 4-bed house which you could go back to. And so for me, it really wasn't that bitter a pill to swallow to go back. But my wife, who, as I said in my last video, if you missed it, check it out, who I said is a dreamer, all right? She said to me, God, and that's what she calls me, if you plan to go back to Aberdeen, you're going to go back by yourself. As for me and my son, we are staying here in London. So you need to start thinking about what we need to do to make London work for us. And I love my wife. And one of the things I do recognize is the fact that we both have strengths that complement each other. And while she's a great dreamer, I'm more the details guy who thinks through all the logical steps to go from X to Y. She just sees Z, right? And so we balance each other out. And so once we had agreed on this and I kind of came to it and I said, you know what, the company is going to do what's best for the company and I need to do what's best for myself, right? Career-wise is the right move, family-wise is the right move. And so I told the company we weren't going. Now, what that meant was that we needed to find a place of our own. And remember, we had our property in Aberdeen, which we were renting at the time. Now, it so happened that as we were looking for a flat, in fact, I think we had made an offer on the flat. We basically got a call from Aberdeen that said our tenant in Aberdeen was giving us 30 days notice and they were going to move out. And so we ended up in a situation where by the time we were moving out of this company property, our house in Aberdeen didn't have a tenant, and because it was the pandemic, we couldn't get any new tenant in, and so we were faced with paying rent for a new place, as well as our mortgage on the property, which was just crazy. We went through a really difficult period financially where we had to walk by faith. One of the things we decided to do was, okay, Melissa was going to go back to work. We decided we were going to downsize, so we went into a 2-bed flat from what was a 4-bed house that the company had provided for us. And eventually we decided, you know what, we're never going back to Aberdeen again, so we're going to sell the property. And now, career-wise, I then decided, you know what, I'm also going to make a change in my career. I'm done with a lot of the technical stuff I've been doing. Now I want to go into a broadening experience and start going into the commercial side of things. And so I pushed and I got a commercial role, initially in trading, spent some time there, and eventually went into a role in group strategy, which is what I'm doing at the moment. Now, all these things, both the trading role, the strategy role, and the transformations that have happened in our family since would not have been possible if we had taken the easy way out and moved back to Aberdeen. I'll give you one number as an example. In the last 3 years, our income has increased by over 70%. And my wife started a business back in 2021, Home Learning Studio, where she does Montessori homeschool coaching, tutoring, as well as making materials on Etsy, as well as on her website. She's also started an Instagram page, which has gathered a massive following of over 21,000 followers. I've gotten promotions. Again, these are things that if I had stayed in the comfort zone, in that comfortable place, I would not have been able to achieve. So what am I saying to you? Sometimes in life, you're faced with such decisions. And the question is, how do you make the choice? I think at the end of the day, like I said in my previous video, you need to spend some time as a family and ask yourself, what do you truly want? And look at what your goals are. Look at what your vision is. Look at what your aspirations are. And also think big. Don't let the circumstances, the immediate challenge be what defines your decision. And as you face those crossroads and in those life-defining moments, I pray and I hope that you will make the right decision. You will not take the easy way out. You will take the opportunity that will stretch you. Because what we found is that, yes, we went through a painful period. We went through times where it was really difficult combining, for example, when we were paying both rents before we were able to sell the property, things were really tough. But now things are looking up. We're now in a 5-bed house, like I told you, in our last video. I'm now in a place where actually I've gotten promoted into a role which, for example, the role I eventually got, if I didn't do the trading role before it, I probably would not have qualified for it. And so taking what looked like the difficult way out and making those moves has accelerated my progress and has transformed our lives completely. And for me, it's let me know that actually, if you push for more in life, you might actually get it. And that brings us to the end of our video today. And hopefully you've learned a thing or two, particularly about the fact that it's important to embrace change, because sometimes at the other side of change is acceleration, is growth. It may not be easy, it may be painful, just like it was in our own situation. But now looking back, we're now in a 5-bed house, we're now in a wonderful place in our lives, actually now reaching for even more, stretching for even more. And we've seen that actually when we put ourselves out there, when we stretch ourselves, we can grow and we can expand. If you've enjoyed our videos, please, we've got a playlist here. If you've not looked at any of the previous ones, please do check it out. And don't forget to like, to subscribe, and to let me know your thoughts in the comments. Do have a wonderful week ahead. Bye-bye.